YouTube, X, everybody watching from Facebook. If you're watching from Facebook, you're watching on Rumble because it's not going to Facebook. Soon to be done with YouTube because they don't. You know all the stuff behind the scenes. If you watch the show long enough, you know what YouTube has done.
Clearly,
Ryan,
it's our bad content, David. That's what we're told.
It was it's. Don't forget, we tried to overturn an election in New Zealand, so some of it is fair, Ryan. We got Kamala Harris today. For those who don't know, I know everyone thinks Joe Biden's president, but there's somebody who's not Joe Biden running for president. It's Kamala Harris. Joe Biden, the current president, is unfit, so Kamala is the one who's been chosen. We had a couple clips.
He's fit to run right now.
Well, he can still be in charge, Ryan. Well, his wife is taking over for the meetings if you haven't been following. But yeah, she's a doctor. It's fine. Just like Dr. Joe Biden. Is Joe Biden a doctor? Doesn't matter.
Dr. Bullshit.
Listen,
Arizona Joe is what I'm calling him now, David. Arizona's too expensive.
Kamala Harris has a couple interesting takes on guns, Ryan. One of them, this might surprise you, Ryan. I actually like one of them. I never heard of this person before, but Jeremy Kauffman had an X clip go viral. For those who don't follow the internet for the last 2 years, X is what Twitter was. X clip went viral. 2 FBI agents showed up to his house because of a social media post. So if you don't think that's coming, it already is. And we're going to talk about Steven Crowder did it again. Mug Club Undercover. This is going to be COVID related. We're going to get into Ryan's record. We got, who knows what we got on the program, but I know Ryan said he has something too. Ryan, did you reinvent racism?
I interpret what you said? Yeah. I have done a public service for all of humanity. I've redefined racism.
I let everyone in the chat, Ryan, know that we're a little bit late, but you were just finishing getting powdered up. So you look good, Ryan. You look good.
I'm like two shades darker than any white man should be in continental United States of America.
Is this part of your reinventing racism?
Of course, David. I'm just selecting what I wish, David. That is all.
Ryan, let's get into Kamala Harris. Wow, what is that big thing that just came up on my screen? Ryan, I'm being interrupted by bad computing right now. I can't even see your face. Kamala Harris's face has popped up in front of your face. Oh, this is not good. Don't worry, I fixed it because I, as everybody knows, is the current producer of the show.
We all know that Eve's really running the production behind the scenes, David. You're just the front man. She's really got the keyboard over there.
She keeps telling me she will do it, but she doesn't know how. Well, there's only one way to learn. And you got to do it.
You do it live.
You do it. You fuck it. We do it live. That's the only way. Here we go. Ryan, this is Kamala Harris interviewing with Oprah because why not? And talking about what she would do if an intruder entered her house.
When you said you have guns. No, at the debate.
I'm a gun owner. Tim Walz is a gun.
I did not know that.
If somebody breaks in my house, they're getting shot.
Yes. I hear that.
Probably should not have said that.
Ryan, if someone breaks into her house, they getting shot. She blacked it up a little bit for Oprah. They getting shot, Ryan. How do you feel about that?
I think that woman needs to. She's on happy pills. There's no way. Look, where she live? Is it legal? Is it? What, David? What do you expect me to say? Serious question.
Do you need more context?
I guess so.
I think we all agree. I know myself agrees. I don't want to speak for Ryan. If someone comes into your house and they're not supposed to be there, they're getting shot. That seems pretty fair. So when I say I actually kind of agree with Kamala Harris on that, I do. But here's, Ryan, I'm going to bring up the same person. You might be surprised to find out. Let me just bring up the same person on screen and just a little contrast. Listen, Ryan, I admit we all can be a little hypocritical sometimes, okay? But this is a little different. I don't know if this is loud enough. I hope it is. As loud as it's going to get.
Responsible behaviors among everybody in the community, and just because you legally possess a gun in the sanctity of your locked home doesn't mean that we're not going to walk into that home and check to see if you're being responsible and safe in the way you conduct your affairs.
Did everyone hear that? I just want to make sure everyone heard that. That was the same person. The same person that said, if you're coming into my house, they getting shot, or whatever she said. Is also saying that if you have guns in your locked home, that doesn't mean we're not going to come inside and make sure you're being responsible. That sounds like a good way to get shot, as Kamala Harris would put it, Ryan.
David, how do they know where to go to look to see if my guns are held there safely if the information that they used to buy the firearm weren't used to build a database of gun owners, David?
Ryan, are you saying there's some type of firearm registry?
Well,
Maybe they get all your
David,
information when they do a background check because it's common sense gun laws, Ryan. Maybe that's how they get all your information.
David, clearly we're not building a registration because every time there's been gun registration, there's been confiscation in human history.
Do you mean they don't want to just have the information?
Well, and David, tell me what other human right you have that they just store all the data and then can use it against you when the First Amendment. I forgot. That's weird.
Somebody says
Good thing
being a
I have
Democrat.
the
Somebody says being a Democrat means you could take both positions. Kamala Harris, to be fair, has taken many positions,
Look,
at least what I've been told.
I don't know who said, heels up Harris. I don't know who said that in the chat here. That's very astute, but they're Marxists. They know. There used to be a saying I said almost every week on this show that these people know exactly what they're doing. And they do. I mean, I don't know what the difference in these clips are, but she obviously thinks one way and then acts another. Right? This is a common thing in humans. So I'm not reinventing the fucking wheel, and I'm not throwing stones in glass houses here. But honestly, technically, when you talk like that and you're a firearm owner, depending on the type of gun that she owns, she could actually lose her concealed carry or whatever weapons that she thinks she's permitted to have. And that's based on some of the laws that have been written by the very states that she's using as the authority that will confiscate guns. They have said for a very long time that they want to confiscate your guns. The UN Agenda 21, okay, this came out in like 2000, said that the American law system contradicts the global law system and it needs to be abolished of some things. And they list firearms in there. I mean, you think name another thing that is incrementally controlled more than a firearm. It does not exist. There's never been anything in the history forever that have been incrementally like the level that they're going at as far as control, other than an automobile, I would argue.
Well,
but
I guess to your point, there's never been a right that has been this controlled.
Yeah, because it's not about guns. It's the right to self-defense against tyrannical government. That's the point of the Second Amendment. It's not about. It's honestly, Second Amendment isn't even about being able to shoot somebody that steps in your house. That just comes as like a given because it's a natural law, David. Remember the natural law we went on the other day that everybody has the right for fucking security and privacy, and it's a natural thing given to you by the universe. It just lists it so that we can speak about it. But yeah, like the Second Amendment doesn't even cover, not that it doesn't, but it does by default, obviously. But the real purpose of a Second Amendment is to defend yourself against tyrannical government. And if I have a presidential candidate that is telling me if I break in her house, she gets shot, but she thinks that I'm just going to let them willy-nilly walk into my house. David, why would I allow them to walk into my house if I'm armed? Oh, that's right. They have more powerful firearms than me, David. They have all the body armor and all the bulletproof vests. They have all the militarized equipment that all the police have gotten over the last 15 years.
Ryan, why don't you just get body armor and militarized equipment? Then you could match their level of intensity.
Well, for people who don't know, the body armor that you buy pretty much legally in most states, okay, the body armor that you buy, the cops in that state have armor piercing rounds that are higher rating than the armor than you can purchase in the state. That's why school shootings don't make sense, even if they are body armored. A lot of times they have it's like copper jacketed rounds will punch right through Kevlar.
Someone else said speech, presumably into what's is regulated.
Look, they haven't.
We're going to get into speech.
Look. The internet isn't speech. Okay, like I know that we defend it. I understand what we mean. It is technically speech, dude. Until they come for me in the public square, that's, That's when they come for speech. Actually, I think the freedom of speech on the internet. The only reason it's so god blessed dicey is people actually don't understand the freedoms. Obviously, Dave, we talk about this all the time, but like when they start silencing people's actual speech, like Alex Jones, like we're in a different. Like the internet is nothing to compare to what they did to Alex Jones. Like literally, they could censor everybody in America, and it's nothing compared to what they did to Alex Jones, because they literally took the guy's physical words from him. Where were we? Yeah, it's for a tyrannical government, and this woman's running for president. She knows exactly what she's talking about. She's not dumb. That's the thing about that debate. She actually showed how smart she actually is, and then she goes on Oprah to talk to all the low information voters and to catch sound bites and just be giggling and all filled on Xanax or whatever the fuck she's doing.
It's not an uncommon thing. We watched Hillary Clinton do. For anyone who doesn't remember the old hot sauce clip, but Kamala Harris is running around pretending to be ethnic, depending on her platform. When she's in the debate, she's speaking very eloquently, and when she's on Oprah, oh, they getting shot. It's very obvious. I think it's obvious. I don't know if everyone else is catching on to this, but it's the old Hillary Clinton back in the day. Hot sauce.
I mean,
It's
they planned this from the beginning. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Kamala Harris was acting like this long before that we actually even seen it. That's why she wasn't shown a lot. Now, I know I got on here and talked about political dishes, and we're now seeing how well she washes them. But, like, at some point, I have to start to believe that it's not a coincidence that this woman just suddenly is intelligent. Because when you are weak, David, you appear strong. And when you are strong, you appear weak. It's in the book, The Art of War. It's older than all of civilization. And I'm supposed to magically believe that the person that tells me that if I break in her house, I get shot and killed, but she's going to come and check me, doesn't know that. 48 Laws of Power, written by Robert Greene, was written in the 20th century. I'm supposed to believe none of those people know that book, David. It's just us on the internet.
Yeah, just us two. We're the only ones who read it, I think.
Only once. Robert Greene
Yeah.
made a fucking 20th anniversary edition, black leather with Machiavelli on the spine and gold leaf. Don't worry, no, just super low quality book, guys. Don't read it. Just go watch Ass Clap on TikTok because Kamala Harris is on TikTok, David. You know,
I'm sure she is. It's usually twerking videos, so I guess she fits right
oh,
in.
I'm sorry, that's Tim Waltz is on TikTok.
I don't want to
twerking.
see Tim Walz twerking.
He's on TikTok twerking or something.
He probably
Shit
is.
at him dancing.
He's
in
a little.
leather.
He's
Look,
a little
look,
freaky, if I'm honest.
For those, the whole video clip of him, I don't know if it's real or not, but if that is a real clip, if that's the one that they showed you, imagine what they have about him. You know, just look at Diddy and just like apply that to Tim Waltz.
You know, Diddy is such a big thing, and I don't know if I'm ready to talk about Diddy, to be honest.
Oh, we're talking about it.
Well, we're gonna. Don't get me wrong, it's coming.
This is unreal. This is the most unbelievable story. I'm so glad we loosely touched base about it over the last few months because it has just been rolling. This is better than the Tates, dude. The Tate saga.
We could so easily get
Diddy.
in there and make a bunch of predictions, and most of them are going to be right because it's so obvious. It's such a playbook that we've seen before. The reason
We're the only two that see it, David, clearly.
The reason, just to be clear, that they're coming after firearms is because firearms are the only physical right that you have that defends all of your other rights. It's been said before, so I don't think we're being original when we say that, but it doesn't change the fact that it's the truth.
It's a linchpin of the Bill of Rights. Yes.
100%. Let me show you two people who be getting shot if they came into our house. Sting? Let's say Sting? Sting, like from Sting and the Police? Will Sting get his checks from Diddy if Diddy goes to jail?
Abortion. How is abortion more regulated than a firearm?
You need background checks to get an abortion, Ryan, don't you? You can only you can only fire a firearm if it's it has to be you have to be in your first trimester to fire a firearm legally, and you need a background check.
You can only get an abortion of the same make and model that you are. You can't buy an abortion for somebody else. Okay, it's got to fit your body type of the abortion. You can't buy handgun ammo if you have a shotgun.
The whole reason, Ryan.
The J6ers, another assault right leg guns. Drones, censoring drones. That's an interesting point. Yeah, I was not a fan of them. You need an FFL if the thing's like over half a pound because, like, let's be honest, any decent drone is over half a pound. Like, it's.
Do you think the drone that flew above the Trump rally in Butler, PA, was over a half pound, Ryan? The only reason that they're coming for this,
Probably not, David. I mean, they would know that he had it then, clearly.
the only reason
Well,
they
there's
would
just
come
not
for your,
common sense drone control, David. This you guys are looking at.
we need
Trump.
common
And
sense drone laws.
Yeah, and pager laws. Okay,
They can only fly a max 10 feet for a max amount of 5 minutes.
Yes, 5 minutes. Your phone can only charge at 89% battery because at 91 it blows your dick off. No worries. It's just where we're at. No more walkie-talkies. We need walkie-talkie control and drone control. That's the only way we save America. Clearly. Do we believe the space laser blew the dude's dick off, or
Well,
Is
it's not
that
a
what-
space laser. No, it wasn't the space laser that did it.
it's not Dragon's Breath, David, that the United Kingdom's got from a helicopter that blows?
So no,
Little
no.
giant
They just
laser
had
beams.
no. It was just walkie talkies. They overheated. That's all.
Overheating?
Strategically overheated.
Strategic.
And they knew exactly which walkie talkies to overheat. High level intelligence.
Do you remember when they sniped that guy right next to his wife? Like a quarter inch, like
Using-
5.
Facial recognition sniped from space, 3 inches from his wife. We talked about that. It was on this show like 2 years, 3 years. It was a while ago.
It's literally the single crazy shit that we've covered in a while for sure.
Okay, listen,
The monkey farm is good though. I'm sorry, I'm in a
Ryan?
weird mood. It's Sunday.
Ryan. The reason they're coming for the guns, Ryan, specifically Ryan, is because they want to take the other rights. So let me get into something else that kicked off all of this. This is Jeremy Kauffman on X, formerly Twitter. For those, how long do we have to say that for? People know what X is, right? This is him having 2 FBI agents roll up to his house, and for what it's worth, he handles it like a boss. Apparently, according to him, this was in relation to a social media post. I'll play the clip out.
Perfect.
Hey there, Jeremy.
Definitely
Yeah.
FBI agents, David. Look at them.
Here we go.
Look at this guy coming up to him like he's going to sell him insurance.
Can you give your full name, please?
Major O'Donnell, the FBI.
Is that sufficient to identify as only one O'Donnell affiliated with the FBI?
In New Hampshire.
Could you please state your full name, sir?
Could you please stop recording?
It's First Amendment right.
Okay.
What's your name, sir?
Could you stop recording?
Absolutely not. You can show me your name and identification, or I'm going to go back inside my house.
I don't really want to broadcast my.
This is going out right after you guys
I
walk
know,
away.
So that's why I'm not gonna-
So you can show me your name or ID. You can walk away.
We just want to talk.
Can you pause it, David?
I'm not going to talk to
Yeah.
people who claim to be federal agents.
It's just interesting they reference it as a broadcast, David.
That's right. You're going to broadcast this? Bet your ass. Should be fucking shooting it live, guy.
Yeah, well, not only am I not broadcasting it, but the way that you would just downplay it, that like they're my First Amendment right. Are you going to broadcast this? It's my First Amendment right. Yes. Like, these people make a mockery. Just think about the way Kamala Harris looked at gun ownership, and that's how the FBI is looking at your right to record them. That's all. It's just frustrating.
It's gonna.
They know
It's
exactly
about.
what they're doing. They know
It's about to
exactly
get
what
more frustrating, Ryan. I assure you that wasn't the frustrating part yet. Although I know what you're saying.
they drag this guy down, huh?
Unless they can show me identification.
You see our badges?
All right, he's got a badge.
I need to
Ooh,
see.
damn.
Is your full name on that badge?
No.
I'd like to see something with your full name, or I'm not going to talk to
I
you.
prefer you not to broadcast it.
This will be going online as soon as you walk away.
Well, all I want to do is talk to you about a post that was made, and if you
Well,
happen to be the one that made the
I want to
post,
talk to you about you guys coming here. Say you make a salary of, I don't know what, low
100
100K? You guys making 6 figures? Factor in 50% expenses, overhead, maybe 100% expenses. Talking about burning a couple $100 an hour just here, let alone all the time you guys are spending to investigate something that you know is not against the law, right? Like you're familiar with. So then why would you come?
Because we wanted to make sure that there weren't any.
No, you're coming because you're part of a regime that does this kind of thing when you know laws aren't being broken, and that's an embarrassment, man. Didn't you guys read the Constitution? Do you not believe in America?
No,
Like, how do you do your jobs and go home?
We appreciate it.
they don't do this.
You're walking
Just-
away because nothing we did is against the law, and you guys are fuckheads that try to act like bullies. And I hope you go home and are embarrassed. You can't even say your name on camera because you know that what you're doing is embarrassing. You know Americans that believe in the Constitution think you're laughable. And you go home and you think about what you did today. Go home and think about it, you cowards. Drive away. Drive away.
Thank you for your time.
You're not welcome. You should be embarrassed. Embarrassing. You guys are embarrassing.
Gets the plate too. I love it. I don't know a better way to handle that. We've lost Ryan. Ryan has disappeared. Let's see if I can bring Ryan back. Ryan must have been taken away by FBI agents. Let's see what I can do to get him back. They do have a cover. You have the right to remain silent. You do have a right to remain silent, but I kind of prefer the way he handled it, if I'm honest. I really do. I kind of like head on, just crashing head on into a collision. Let me see if I can bring Ryan back on so we can continue the show. Maybe his powder was getting dry. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if it's supposed to be dry. That's what powder does, I think. In the meantime, I'm going to try to get to Ryan back. But this is what they do. This is the kind of thing that you got to be careful about. We've warned about this kind of thing happening, and I know a lot of people said that it's not going to happen. It was always a conspiracy that they're going to come for your speech. But it's been written on the wall for a while, and for people who were able to foresee it, good for them. But for a lot of people, they weren't able to foresee it. Ryan, did you have to repowder?
Well, David, clearly the FBI did not like the social media post I had. And they've, it wasn't FBI, actually. They came from the United Kingdom, I think they said.
Well, we did talk about that. The United Kingdom said they were going to come for people. I think, didn't they? They were coming for people globally. Was I wrong about that?
No, they said Americans. I'm pretty sure they referenced American. And then
People
we see the
in the
FBI
UK
a few weeks later.
Yeah, people in the UK said they were coming for Americans if you... I don't even remember what it was about. It was about social media posts. Either way, they said they were coming to your door. Good luck. FBI is coming to your door. That's how you handle it. I'm not playing these games. Listen, you go out.
Isn't it weird that they have to send the FBI there when Facebook and all these other social media sites already have the algorithm and they have the ability to censor because of fucking whatever the subsection is that allows them to just gut human liberty. Like, they have all these things and they can shadow ban you. They can push you down the algorithm. So if you have all that power, why do you even need the police to come to my door if you can make the post not be seen?
Isn't it just a little bit scarier though, Ryan?
Oh, a little scary. Oh, you mean like the police show up and say I can't put something on the internet, David?
I
To be
think
scared.
Yeah, absolutely.
But David, it's not like they arrested somebody or made them pay, I don't know, like $1 billion or something for something that they said. It's not like there's precedent for this, David. It's never happened before in American history. Clearly.
I'm gonna play something else that just shows, because I don't want people to think like this is a one-off situation. We've said this before. We said it was coming before. Like I told everyone, we've talked about the writing on the wall.
The joke was that it was Alex Jones and that you guys let him get murdered like the canary in the coal mine when everything else was fucking coming behind him, because they have to take the people that they can take out first. Those are the ones that you're okay with. And then they build the system that will take out the next ones that you're okay with. And then they build the system to take the next ones and the next ones. And then soon it's the freaking, you can't even say that you're starving in a gulag because that would be going against the official government narrative on social media. And if you don't think that will happen, they did it in the gulags in the Soviet Union. They wrote books about it, David.
Let's put up. This is going to be terrifying for everybody, but this is Hillary Clinton, and I only play this. I know what everyone's going to say. She's not in power anymore. What difference does it make? But just to get into the mind of these people, this is Hillary Clinton.
And boosting Trump back in 2016. But I also think there are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda. And whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged is something that would be a better deterrence because
she was talking about miss or dis or mail, remember all of these made up terms, information on the internet. And she's talking about whether or not these people should be civilly, Alex Jones, or criminally charged. There's room to go. The Alex Jones thing was bad enough. $1 billion, that's taking somebody's livelihood forever. Alex Jones was never even close to a billionaire. Criminally
and
charged.
unusual.
They're going to put you in jail for your speech. Only Hillary Clinton naked is terrifying. It probably is. I'd ask Bill, but I suspect he doesn't know.
Bet you knows what Diddy looks like naked, David.
I kind of want to go back up to the thing. What's the thing with Sting? Diddy's paying Sting for copyright for the Every Breath You Took sample, I'm guessing? I didn't know that, by the way.
Yeah, that's how royalties work.
Well, yeah, but I think you can get permission to use it, right? So I didn't know if
No, you can use it. You have to pay them. That's why, you can remix any song. If you make money, you have to pay royalties to that person. I don't know what that number is, but yeah.
And I just want to do just one more. I know it's clip heavy here, and we got another very long clip to play. I know it's clip heavy, but I just want to really make the point. Hillary Clinton, who cares? She's not in power anymore. She has no say. Here is a man who is in charge of one of the most populated states in the entire country, who also has presidential hopes. Okay, this is Gavin Newsom. These are all very important because I really want to nail this home. That they are coming for your speech. They're coming for your firearms, which is important. You need to defend that. But they're coming for them for a reason.
There are a lot of deepfakes out there. There's not a lot of disclosure. There's not a lot of labeling. So among the many AI bills that are on the desk are 3 specific election-related bills.
Do you want to sign some laws?
And I just thought, why waste your time with a politician unless they're going to do something for you?
Two are signed, and 3 are signed.
And this is now official. That is now injunctive relief if you do any of those deepfake election misrepresentations. So that's how easy it is to govern. There are a lot of.
Well, it certainly is that easy to govern in California, David.
That bill is not only for deepfakes, for what it's worth. Go read it. Go read the whole thing. I'm not going to sit here and read it word for word, but everybody here has the access. Go read it. It's not just about deepfakes.
Come on, David. Clearly they care about deepfakes, David. They don't want Taylor Swift porn out there. Don't worry about that high schooler that will never get a job from it. But we can shut down the Taylor Swift section of Pornhub.
Not the pedophilia, though.
The AI porn, for people who don't play the long game, we've covered every time there's AI porn and there's a problem, and it's comes for politicians and high schoolers, and it fucks everything up. But they can pull Taylor Swift's porn. They can make bills that they can do it. It's for election. It's only for the election. What are you going to do when everything's tied into these AI algorithms and you go to apply for a job on Indeed.com and your profile isn't even in their algorithm because of election misinformation?
Well, that sounds like some type of weird socialized score that would take place, Ryan.
Well, we have a credit score, David, that
sounds
keeps
like
track
a
all your
conspiracy. That's misinformation. Now you're going to prison.
Well, David, here's an idea.
They're going to come to your house.
It's just a new form of debt, David. It's just
Hope you
your
don't have any
social
guns.
debt. Your social debt is a real thing now. What you say will be leveraged against how you act and what you post on the internet, and they will be paired up with each other. And if you say that you're vegan and you eat cheeseburgers, the computer's going to dock you for that. Or if you're supposed to be vegan and you eat cheeseburgers, you're going to get docked. But the other way, you'll have higher health insurance premiums, which they targeted smokers, David. That's the other one, right? They come for the easy ones. Yeah, we'll just target the smokers. Let's not talk about how we got them addicted and said it was cool. But yeah, the smokers should pay more for health insurance premium, David. They smoke. It's their choice. All right. That's true. What if I told you that blonde-haired people have higher rates of disease? Do they have to pay more now, David?
Well,
or black people are more likely?
I was just going to say, black people are more likely to have diabetes. So should black people specifically have to pay higher insurance premiums?
I don't know, Dave. Where's discrimination? I can't discriminate. Well, maybe I can be selective, David.
That sounds different than discrimination.
Yeah, it's how you get through racism, David. I found the loophole.
Gruesome Newsom.
all
You know, I think Gavin Newsom
Gruesome
looks like Harvey Dent.
He looks like Grant Cardone if he stayed on drugs. He even sounds like him. Him signing that and saying it's that easy to govern in California is so true, because what he's basically saying is that the legislature is a rubber stamp for the governor, which is the opposite of government. There's no way that bills get passed unilaterally unless there's some kind of Tell me, David, tell me how, if you have 10 family members in one room, none of you can agree on anything 100%. It might be 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. Very rare is it 10 out of 10.
Right, me and you in a room wouldn't agree 100%.
Yeah, well, tell me how the
just
fuck
doesn't
300 people in California all agree and the governor can just sign a sheet of paper and it just be... How is that even possible unless there's blackmail and corruption and fucking billions being made?
I'm assuming it's the same people, Ryan, that all sent in mail-in ballots at the same time last election cycle. Because those broke, for those who don't remember, they broke 100% for Biden. So all those people in the room agreed. It's not an anomaly. It happens all the time, Ryan. Hundreds of thousands of people agreeing at 4 a.m. Happens all the time.
Here's a shame with people that vote against freedom. And when by freedom, I mean mostly the Republican apparatus. It is corrupt. It is a war hawk organization. It is for big business. It is to shut down little guys. I agree with you. But the problem is the solution isn't to just flood. Because you either get big business or big government. That's all you have. Like, this is a natural course in human history. Back in the Industrial Revolution, you know what I mean? And unions were supposed to be the way to fix working conditions, for example, right, David? They fought. They went on strike so that the textile places and all the industry lost money, right? Loosely. But like, we're coming to a point here that, like, we're seeing what we picked, and it was big government. You know what's funny too is the very people that voted for big government because you didn't want big business, the big government will grow big business until it's one business, because they've actually, this is the thing that people don't understand either, is that they plan to use the corporations to gut the private sector and then put the corporatism together with the socialized communist American military government apparatus and put them together and have the corporate states of America officially. It was never known to people. And the real detriment about it not being known to people is that it was just dismissed. It was continually dismissed. When I first started following this, David, you and I, there was no global tax for global government. It is now openly talked about, and there's literally a global tax for global government.
It's just a rainy day fund, Ryan. There's no global government.
You know, we, like, the shame thing is we're paying for this as a generation. Like, we were forced to inhabit all of the shit that came before. And the only thing that saves us, we have the internet. We didn't believe them. But there was no amount of calling me a conspiracy theorist. There was no amount of lying to me. There's no amount of movies. There was no amount of hot porn stars. There's nothing that you sold me on that made me believe that you were telling me the truth this whole time. We're seeing what happened. These people are so open, fragrant, and corrupt. They actually think that it's a good thing to tell you that that's how easy it is to govern in the state of California. And you clap your hands like good little puppies. Direct democracy never works. 51% will always vote to eat the other 49%, David. That's why we're not a democracy. We are a republic. We're supposed to be constitutionally bound by elected representatives that go to represent the people that they are picked by voting, David, which is the democracy part of our system. But we're supposed to negate all that because it's inconvenient. And now we see they're literally they won't do it when we're filming, but I hope to God I'm live when they knock on my door. And it's a shame in the state of New York, David, I can't even represent myself in court unless I have passed the bar exam. So that whole rant I have about jury of my peers, they won't even allow me in the courtroom, David. What am I just going to be tried as a treasonous, David?
Domestic terrorist, more like.
Dude, this is not good. There's never been an apparatus in the history of all of the apparatus to spy on an individual citizen at a government, like the government spy at an individual has never happened before. This is nothing. Like this is, if we just let this thing fucking unzip and let corruption forget it, dude. You know, and the idea, back to my pension is up. I just sent Dave the picture. The Bowen pension plan got gutted. They have nothing left. You're working to hold the system up that will be bankrupt by the time you go to collect a check from it. It will be a new system that won't have to honor the old American dollar, just like they did to gold, David, when they went to the petrodollar.
Okay, but there is hope, Ryan. The good news is if you work for Boeing and you lost your pension, at least Social Security is still holding strong, right?
You mean the Social Security that has been outpaced by inflation and minimum wage and the cost of living and the cost of bread? You get like $1,000 a month when a studio apartment is $1,000.
That's the one.
And you were told by the very system that people want more of, that was. My grandmother told my mother years ago that she didn't like Social Security because it taught people to not save and budget their money for the future or invest their money. I added that part, not her. Because we grew up poor, we didn't know about investments. But
they didn't have money to invest.
But they know about investing, David, just like they know about marriage and college. But they tell poor people that college and marriage is a scam. And it is if you marry the wrong person and go to college for gender studies. But all the wealthy businessmen, all their kids get married, all their kids go to college, all those kids invest, David, all those kids don't have debt, but they tell you to go into debt. That's the big government that you wanted is creating the big business that you hate to vote against. That's what's so odd to me. But then you tell me your pension is up. Your pension is up because the organizations that prop up the stock market are making record profits when everybody else is going bankrupt. There's 3 companies that hold the stock market up, basically, or can. We've covered it on the program. It fluctuates, obviously, David.
BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street.
Well, those own everything, but I mean, as far as like liquid assets or something that keeps the market volatile, it was like Microsoft and Apple or Google and Microsoft.
Yeah.
It was like,
yep.
Yeah,
I'm thinking specific S&P 500.
Yeah, you're thinking about like people that own the most shares of the total percentage of the stock that is available to be bought. What I'm describing is like the companies that are on the stock market that keep it up and down, that go to your pension. There's only like 3 real ones that are holding everything afloat. And they're all the big tech ones, David.
Alphabet. I think that was the one. That's like the over.
ABC is Google.
Yeah. Chats. Bill Clinton did that in 96 when he got rid of a lot of monopolies, made big companies like Legacy.
How the fuck you get rid of monopolies, but you move all the business to other countries? Isn't that a monopoly? You got rid of a corporate monopoly and made a government ran one. That's all you did. You just took, that was NAFTA and GATT. That's where Bethlehem Steel went in Buffalo. That's why they're called Rust Belt cities, because all the manufacturing dried up. Because of NAFTA and GATT. That's why they went to Mexico, because they got a better deal. Because they don't have to
Um,
pay for environmental costs. David.
They do call the internet the World Wide Web. They sure do.
Except you live in North Korea or
Um,
China.
yeah, at least you
It
have
is
your
weird. We don't call it the World Wide Web. We call it the internet. That's so funny. Terms don't matter, David. It's whose line is it anyways? Words don't matter. They're just defined from Greek. I came to this thought, David. We used to, you know how we used to name stuff from like Greek and Roman and Latin origins, like words, like Colosseum comes from this, or stadium comes from this Greco word that means this. Now we just name it after people and corporations. We used to name it beyond ourselves so that the building would be named for eternity off of like a god or like a idea, or like, how is it that Adam from the Garden of Eden, David, is also the smallest molecule that everything's built around is atoms, isn't it? And they're spelled different, but they're said the same. They're same pronunciation. It's just interesting. But now we just name things Ronald McDonald or fucking some car dealership name, and you know. Sorry,
Zeus Plumbing. Is that a plumbing place by you? Zeus Plumbing.
There was Atlas Electric. I looked up because I wanted to name a company Atlas.
Ryan, we've talked about was it last week? 2 weeks ago? When did we just do that Mug Club Undercover? It was a couple of weeks ago, I think. 2 weeks? 2 weeks. I look to Ryan to be my memory because mine does not exist, unfortunately.
It's the mustache, David.
I think it is. It's taking too much effort to grow. But that's okay.
It's so thick, dude. It's a fucking brisket, dude, on your face.
It's a brush fire.
Thing is a comb on your face, dude. Oh,
Mug Club Undercover is they've done it again.
Thing has an elevation on it.
They've done it again, Ryan. I want everyone, and including ourselves, to think to all the things we said about COVID while COVID was happening, and then watch this, because I'm telling you, it's the most. This is the best one he's done so far. It's incredible to me personally that I still can't understand how people just,
dude, girls just it's pretty privileged,
it
dude.
truly
it
really is. It's wild, man.
2 shots of fucking
you get a girl in like
dude,
a moderately it's like a moderately low cut. You get a 7 in a moderately low cut dress, and you have the highest ranking officials in the world will say whatever you want. It's the craziest thing. None of these people, you know what it is? That's what happens when you have a world run by weak men. You get premium content like this.
That's
so
corruption. It's what they're so used to talking like this. Like,
can we change the name of the show to You Bet Your Life?
You bet your life? Why? Because I'm going to be betting my life.
Maybe we'll just do a different segment. We'll do a You Bet Your Life segment. Let's do this, Ryan. I will, as always. This is longer, and I feel like there's going to be more of these coming. So we better get used to our flow on these, because I'm not just going to clip them, because they're almost like they're just too dense and too packed to clip. You just have to play them out. So Ryan, whenever you say pause, I'm going to slap the pause button.
So I want you to take yourself back to March of 2020. Okay, mentally, the beginning of COVID pandemic. Right, the streets of New York City looked like a dystopian sci-fi movie, albeit with less charm and more hobo urine. More than normal for New York City. Now, it was even worse than the rest of the country. Thousands forced to close. Millions of New Yorkers lost their jobs overnight, and loved ones were forced to die alone. And the man you're about to meet is responsible for all of it. Dr. Jay Varma.
I spent my career, I worked for the CDC for 20 years, so I kind of lived all over the world doing it.
Okay. Just looking at his face, it probably didn't even take a 7. I'm just saying.
Dude, she had sweatpants on.
He's not a looker. At least I hope he's got something going for him.
Probably a millionaire.
Disease work. So I used to spend time doing public health where I go to different, so I lived in Bangkok and in Beijing and in Ethiopia.
So exciting.
And so what I did was my job was to go and help countries like build their systems to detect and respond to diseases. So kind of like during COVID where you had to set up a testing program and a vaccination program and you need to monitor the numbers. That was like the type of thing I did for my career at GCs, go to different countries and help them do that.
So he worked for the
I was
CDC.
in New York before that, and they contacted me to come back. So I moved back from Ethiopia to New York to run the COVID response for the city. So I like set up all the testing and vaccine program for the city. I actually was the one who convinced the mayor to make it a mandate. I was on TV for about a year and a half. So I was on a press conference every day for a year and a half, every morning at 10 a.m.
Mayor de Blasio.
Yeah, with the mayor. I had to sit next to him.
Yeah, put your mask on.
Yeah, for COVID, yeah. I'm very Googleable, but I'm not like.
Okay, I didn't Google you. Maybe I should have.
You can Google me now.
I didn't Google you. Steven Crowder did for me.
Now, there's more to Dr. Varma
Don't Google me.
than mere medical tyranny here.
Fuck that guy.
It's a classic story of the rules for thee, but not for me, as we see with a lot of unelected bureaucrats. But this story is not one about hypocrisy. I want to be clear. Everyone's a hypocrite. It's not lost on me. This is a story about those in charge not fearing what it is that they demanded you fear in a way that
He
altered
looks
your life.
telepathic.
You
like
were
the
told to
movie
fear
Scanners.
going to church. You were told to fear meeting family, fear running your business, or even vote. Remember that? It was so dangerous, you needed to vote from home.
Just drop your vote off safely.
By
in
any
those
means
spots.
possible. While
Sure, it'll be
you,
counted
the
at 4
peasants,
a.m. when
were
there's a pipe
locked
burst.
down and not allowed to gather with more than 10 people at a time. Elites like Jay Varma, well, he was hosting sex parties.
It's so funny. It's like because I did all this like deviant like sexual stuff while I was like like on TV and all this stuff. Yeah. And people were like, aren't you afraid? Aren't you embarrassed? And I was like, no, actually, I'm like really like I love being my authentic self. So I got every type of range of everything.
Okay.
And I've been to a lot of like sex parties, lots of like play parties.
Okay, so what were the sex parties like during COVID?
So that I didn't. So I never went to a like public type one. We actually had a like my wife and I like had one with our friends like in August of like that first summer. Because all our friends were just like, well, it wasn't so much sex. They were just like, I need to get like this energy out of me and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we rented a hotel. I think kind of kind of sneaky about it because hotels didn't want people gathering there. Because that was like.
Yo, can you pause it?
I like how.
Dave, you ever hear about like the drug testing guidelines for like government work?
No. Like specifically something?
Yeah, no, like it's hard to get a working at like a nursing home, you go through like a prior higher drug screening than you do to work for the government. In some positions.
Oh, you're saying for the government, it's like a very low standard.
Yes. I don't
Like
even think congressmen get
Hunter
drug.
Biden would pass.
I don't think congressmen get drug tested. I say that because this guy just seems like very neurotic. You know, I'm not a fucking Jordan Peterson, but as somebody who has like a little bit of neuroticism in me, David, that's why I fucking flip the fuck out sometimes. Just like the sex party, the dopamine seeking, the fucking, you know, when you talked about the energy, I'm making shit up here, obviously. It just like seems to me like maybe all this energy and pent up state, like you guys were all lying for fucking 4 years. Wonder why you're all going out doing weird shit. Go ahead, I'm sorry. It's just interesting. These guys, these are the people. This guy's getting swayed by a girl to just open his heart up. It's
It was
just
fun. We all like took like Molly and just like it was like 8 or 9 of us and then 10 or 8 to 10 of us in a room and everybody had a blast because everybody was like so pent up because it had been like everybody was just like stuck together. And stuff like that. And sometimes it isn't so much about like introducing yourself. It's just about like bodies being close to each other, right? Just being like naked with friends.
During COVID, we just had private parties. I think COVID was big. Yeah, so it was just home in our home or other places. That was the one we did during COVID because it was like August 2020. All of our friends, people were friends and stuff who were all in this Play Poly world, and we was just like head down. And so I did like a whole like testing protocol for everybody. It was a real.
We have government officials at the highest level all fucking each other.
That's right.
That's the Roman Empire, Dave. Follow Rome. That's what they were doing. Go ahead. Nothing new under the sun, right? History repeats itself, Dave.
Small. I mean, small isn't like no. COVID.
This isn't necessarily the big issue, but I just want to put this out there. Don't put people in charge who let friends fuck their wives. I'm just saying.
Oh, Michael Knowles knows all about that.
Okay, so violate the draconian lockdowns that the rest of the population had to follow for a mass sex party once. Shame on me. Violate your own draconian mandates again over a year later when your rules only allow for a max gathering of 50 people so that you can attend a drug-fueled underground dance party with 4 times that number of people. Shame on.
Now, officials say gatherings continue to play a role in the increase. While anyone planning on a big party, officials are telling you, think again.
The only way I could do this job for the city was if I had some way to blow off steam every now and then.
Do you think you'd have gotten like a hard time if like New York City found out that you're having sex parties during COVID?
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been real embarrassing.
Yeah, you can keep it. Yeah, keep it.
Actually, the only time I felt kind of nervous was fairly early on, right when we were about to do the vaccine mandate, right before we did it. There hadn't been to any like dance parties in New York City yet. Right? And we went to some. We had a wild night.
No, this was
like,
King Pause.
Always dance parties on boats. And then we went to.
It's like this guy just did this to shut a city down so he could experience things. Isn't that what it sounds like? Like they just want they don't want you to do what you like they can do. That's all it is. He wants you to work all day and go to bed while he's doing fucking Molly and fucking other people's wives at a nightclub that only 50 people are at. Because 500 is too many for him. You are the carbon they're trying to eliminate. No global plan, David. There's just 15-minute cities. We're just going to live. This guy's going to be living in all the tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of open acres. It's going to go to these people to have fucking fuck parties while we're working to supply their life, getting replaced by the robots that they're building to replace me. That I get to fix so that they can keep doing their drug-filled sex parties in the middle of fucking, I think they call them retreats, but they even use the term like reservations, which is ironic because they put the Indians in reservations, right? The natives, David. But they're going to have reservations of elitism. It's going to be all green, beautiful, probably beautiful women. All the drugs, David. All the drugs to fuck each other.
In the chat, it says Russia is suggesting that working people have sex during working hours, and that's due to low population, negative growth. They're trying to pass the legislation. Wow.
Yeah, Putin said they're going to give I don't know if it was tax incentives, but he said they're going to incentivize people having 4 or more children. That was 4 plus. He wants people to have at least 4 kids.
Are they all going to be pure blood Russian children, Ryan, only?
Clearly, David. They're going to crisp them. And he knows because, look, it's not that he's going to catch up. The thing is there's going to be a mass die-off of fucking people, and there's going to be a lot of open land, and he would rather have Russia grab all the open land with dead people in it, David, than the Americans or Africans or whatever country.
Why not just bring in a bunch of migrants from, I don't know, pick any nation?
Because forced migration never works, David. It has never worked in human history, not one time. Every empire in the history of all forever that has just tried to mass assimilate migrants into their population has displaced everything. It ruins the system and bleeds it dry. And the very system that you're trying to upheave and uphold to provide a life for the very migrants that you need to replace the ones that are dying falls apart because there isn't enough resources readily available to turn those people into citizens instantly that will provide, because it takes like 10 years in our system, I think, to rehabilitate an immigrant to be useful as far as like get your taxes back. It's like 10 years. This is never happening. How many people you know even keep a job for 10 years? You know, I know we're rambling. We're fucking supposed to be talking about how the drug czars are fucking snorting Molly and fucking each other.
This gets so much worse, by the way.
These people just need to get like publicly like embarrassed and executed for treason.
Like answering the bank and everybody's high. And I was so happy because it hadn't done that in like a year and a half, like a year or whatever. And but I was looking around being like, I wonder if he sees it.
Yo, this guy's sitting there getting.
This is like May or June of 2021. So it was like the spring. So the vaccines had become available, but nobody had really kind of thought about having like, well, I had never thought of going to a big scale party.
Was the vaccine mandate out?
Not yet. It was for small groups. It was for certain city workers.
Notice, by the way, he didn't correct the term mandate. Just saying, this guy was in charge of the whole thing in NYC.
Well, it was a suggestion.
She's called it a mandate, and he didn't go. Whoa. He didn't go. Stop. That's not. It wasn't a mandate. It was. It was just just suggestion. We highly recommended. No.
We didn't force.
She said
anybody.
mandate. He didn't correct her.
Didn't force.
He didn't correct her for a reason.
He didn't force anybody, and he was sitting there getting high, looking around at how amazing it was to dance.
That happened in June.
So people were like losing their jobs at that time if they didn't get
There
it.
might have been, but not it's a very small number of people. Most people, everybody can get it.
How big was the party?
Probably 200 people. It was like the bottom of some bank.
And then when your turn comes up to get the vaccine, we want you to get that because that is the path to parties.
Okay, so that seems bad at first glance and second and all.
By the way, real quick, in case anyone missed it, there was 200 people at a dance party, and did you note the location? They said it was underneath some bank. Just a little weird. I'm just saying.
Is that the bank by the Jewish tunnel, David?
What? I don't know. I'm just saying it's a little. He said that very like nonchalantly, like everyone knows that you can have parties in the bottom of banks.
Underground.
I just didn't want that to go under the radar because he just kind of throws it out there like it's a normal. Oh yeah, we were below some bank. So you were what? You were where in a building beneath a bank with 200 people? All right, if you say so.
He even said party while he was out partying.
All of them.
Psycho.
But I'm willing to bet that giant sec are not. You missed a post. What on pandemic? If you were in New York, probably loved ones, holidays, family gatherings, especially around Thanksgiving, and that time where Governor was sicking law enforcement on unsuspecting citizens and being chastised as your elected officials. Well, what about that?
Health issues discouraged during approaching holiday season as schools of cities are dealing with surges in coronavirus cases.
My wife's family was in Seattle and they went back over Christmas, that first COVID Christmas. I couldn't go because publicly I encouraged New Yorkers not to travel. And so, the mayor was like, you really can't go with your family, you gotta stay here. Because if they catch you if somebody takes a picture at the airport of you, they'll...
Did the mayor know about your party?
No. Talk about that part of my life.
Yeah.
Okay, that one's pretty rough too. But I'm sure these people, some of what they espouse, for example, a lot of you who didn't get the vaccine, right? Because you believe there was some kind of natural immunity if you'd already had the virus, and you were told absolutely not. That's not the case, especially in New York. Social distancing masks, you need a minimum of 4 doses of the vaccine.
And if you're 50 years old or above, you need 4 doses.
Consistent when they don't know cameras are running, right?
I know people that won't have sex with someone that didn't get the COVID vaccine. And I don't know enough to know if that's like a.
That's like a weird, like, I think that's a weird, like, belief that somehow, like, their body is different. It doesn't make any difference at all. Everybody's been exposed to the virus, and you're exposed to the virus because it breathed on you or because you got injected you. It's the same immune response.
Okay, so it turns out science is a thing, and that one looks kind of bad. But let's not rush to judgment. Don't write Dr. Varma off as some power-hungry villain just yet. Good people sometimes do bad things, or they make mistakes. Those in charge could still have been looking out for you, and in no way does this prove that people like Dr. Varma get a thrill out of psychologically manipulating people to abuse their own power, exert control, while completely disregarding the destroying rules that they apply to people like you, right?
You know, it's kind of interesting, Ryan, because that's kind of
political Stockholm syndrome.
That's kind of
political Stockholm. I think it was like our third episode on this program.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah, it's like the first 20 episodes, like the first half a year. I told you guys that political Stockholm syndrome is a real thing, and they're using it for this very. And it's not to degrade from Crowder. It's actually just I'm glad that we've always talked about this. I'm glad we're just all parring and batting the same lane here because we're all seeing the same shit. It's just that nobody is telling you. Like, I don't know how people don't see this as Stockholm syndrome. Like, there's still people that are still talking about getting, well, they have COVID. Like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? And people are just going along with it. They want the money. They still want all the money and all the week off of work. And if they made the life so hard that you want it easy, why do you think they make things expensive on purpose? They want you to give up. I don't understand. That's why they tell you that it's hard work doesn't work. Dude, the point of hard work is that you just you build it builds character, right? That's the saying, David, because the character you're building is unbuyable. Because you know that the best things you work for, the things that you put the most into, you get the most out of. No such thing as a free lunch, David. We used to believe this shit. We were told this. I was talking to somebody about our generation, Dave, with the DARE programs and the babies you used to take home to tell you about teen pregnancy. Do you remember the little red box that you'd go outside and you'd have to act like you were smoking a cigarette at 11? You were 11 and 12 years old.
What is this?
You never heard that? They had a box and they would give the kids because they were trying to teach you to not be smokers?
No.
Oh,
to
God.
not be smokers.
Yeah, so they would have a box that you would do, it's time to smoke, and you'd go outside and.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. It was like trying to show the kids that it takes away from your time and it's gross, but in reality, it just trained everybody to be ready for cigarettes because they Stockholm syndrome you. He just Crowder broke it down great. I just fucking cut the middleman out of it because I can the pattern is that they're lying to you to make you believe through traumatizing you with information and your neighbors and your job. And World War III is all things, right, David? It's political, it's economic, it's multifaceted with the spirituality in your body and your mentality and your family and your job and society and your car payment and your loan payment and your pension. That's World War III. Political Stockholm syndrome.
Catch up on some chats real quick. They got to put his bag on his head during sex. Yeah, well, it's a good way to stop the COVID. The underground dance parties must be the bank's side hustle. This Thanksgiving, you might not want to have turkey because of bird flu.
Is that why I only get 3% on my savings account?
That's probably, yeah. There'd be a lot more in it, but they had to invest, into the dance parties.
Yeah, we had to get new lighting for the bank. Well, you just not that part of the bank.
We upgraded the speaking system. This Thanksgiving, you might not want to have turkey because of bird flu. Do you have a best of show on your off nights? We don't, but we have our entire Rumble playlist. So go through and just start from the top and work your way to the bottom, or stop at the bottom and work your way to the top. Yeah, honestly, start at the bottom, work your way to the top. You can see the evolution of the show. It'd probably be interesting.
We used a mousetrap and a cigar bag. Yeah, that was a good one. We had a doll that would smoke. Right. And now, mind you,
Susie smokes a lot.
Yeah, but this was before like secondhand smoke was a thing. So you have 20 kids in a classroom with a doll, and then you light a cigarette, and we watch it smoke, and we just breathe in the smoke.
That's fucked. That's so messed up.
Dude, Dare was in fifth smoking candy. Dare was in fifth grade. They told you what cocaine was. I wonder why everybody's got the opiate crisis. Well, you taught kids about heroin.
Everyone
Dude,
bump a line. We're
know
going to
what
learn
the
about
fuck-
the effects.
I didn't know what the fuck protein was until I was 25 years old, but I knew all about cocaine because of school. No child left behind, indeed, Mr. Reagan. Just say no. Holy fuck, dude. And then I got this fucking drug addict Rand prick that's fucking other dudes' wives. This is here, Nero, the fall of Nero here.
I had actually been talking to him about it since before the vaccine program. Keep pushing it.
So the way we do it in public health is we make it very uncomfortable to be unvaccinated. Doing vaccines, like, oh, you can't get a job, you can't go to a restaurant, kid can't go to school. It's like, he's gonna get vaccinated.
So was it technically like kind of forcing people?
Yeah, that's what you force people by making it really uncomfortable. Your car comes with seatbelts and airbags. You have to like actively, and it beeps all the time. So you can still drive with a seatbelt, right? The car doesn't shut off, but you know, it beeps all the time.
Right.
This is service.
So true.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. The
I
whole
love
idea
making
is,
your
like,
car beep when you're not
build
vaccinated.
barriers so that people are like, just gonna do it because I'm tired of being wrong.
Pause the video,
So
David.
like kind of forcing people.
Yeah,
Pause the
and
video.
the whole point of the education.
And you wonder why they want
Yeah,
weak
yeah.
men. You wonder why they want weak men. Wonder why they want transgender surgery and let men compete in women's sports. They're going to have you so jacked up, beating up your sister your whole life, you're not going to stand up to men that are running your life. Make it as hard as we can. We won't let you get a job. They just told you the social credit score existed. They used it to leverage it to put a chemical in your body that is going to kill you. Right, David? Brett Weinstein talked about this on X with Tucker. You're going to see a whole spike of things, David. Maybe that's why Moderna and Pfizer are opening up all this technology and CRISPR data, David, into heart attacks and.
Yeah, I don't. You know, I saw something earlier today, and I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was going over the rate of increase and everything between cancer and cardiac arrest and all that. And I'm going to see if I can find it real quick because the numbers are just astonishing. We know all these things. We've talked about them on the show, but to see it laid out is just fucking incredible. I don't know if
It's also people. It's also people, Dave. It's also people. We told you on the internet. I'm told that this is a free and open platform. I told you on the internet they were fucking lying to you and they were corrupt tyrants the entire time. And I have to wait Steven Crowder to have a mid-6 out there and a couple Heinekens to get the former Tsar of New York City or whatever his public title is to tell me the thing that I told you 4 years ago driving in my fucking car. But I was just told that I'm crazy, David, and killing people's grandparents. But now I got to look at numbers about all the people that are affected and think about how many people's lives you fucked up. You literally fucked up the human genome. That's what I mean. This isn't like a thing for Fight for America. No, we're fighting for humanity. They're trying to replace you with a plastic synthetic android that won't question what it's doing. It will just do as it's told. They won't have to force it to do anything. It will just do as the code says. They want you to be programmable. And the reason they're going robots, David, I know we don't want to, whatever, fuck it, is because in the 20th century, Stalin believed that humans are just blank slates. Nazis believed that humans were blank slates, David, and you can force the human genome to do anything that you want by shaping and changing its environment and having people spy on each other and be evil and murder each other. And you know what happened, David? The opposite. Human nature prevailed, David. People are
Ryan,
good
that would-
by nature, David. We didn't just sit there and brutalize each other. There was still religion, David.
That would only work if there was no free will, Ryan.
Oh, there's free will, David. That's why they tell you there's no free will. It's so that you just give up on the idea of even developing your own free will, because free will requires you to be disciplined, David, because in order to have free will, you must be able to choose between two things that negate each other. Like, I'm going to eat a cookie or I'm going to eat the nice lean meat. And you only have free will if you only choose the one that you think it's only free will if you make the hard decision. Making the easy choice is not free will, David. That is the path of least resistance, is it not?
You know, I said this on the program, but I think it was Nietzsche. I think said there was no such thing as free or unfree will. There is only strong or weak will.
And for people who don't know about Nietzsche, David, he had a disease. I think it was syphilis because he loved prostitutes.
Hey.
And coke. Sigmund Freud was coke. I'm sorry. But he had, I think I'm getting this right with Nietzsche, but he suffered great pain and he was bedridden for hours. Like, he couldn't get up for more than 5 minutes without like falling to the ground in agony. And he was a writer and philosopher. And he was like, he taught at university at like 18, you know what I mean? In like the 1900s, when this is like unheard of. And he would suffer great pain. So he would lay in his bed for hours thinking about the same line over and over and over and over again. And I forget the way Peterson worded it, but he even said it about himself. He said, I could hammer out what it takes a man a whole novel to do in only a few words. And that's because he would just lay in bed, and because he couldn't sit there and just write all his thoughts down, the limited amount of time he would get to write, it had to be so concise and perfect. You know what I mean? He could just sit there continuously proofread it in his head, and then he would get up and write it. And that quote is fucking a prime example of that. Because I just spent 5 minutes monologuing why it's important. And what was the saying? There's only strong-willed and weak-willed.
He said Nietzsche had no choice. Prostitutes are the only people that have sex with him. Maybe.
That mustache, dude, I don't know. It's fucking called handlebar.
Oh,
Look,
that's a good point.
Look, for the record, like, the guy lived in the 1900s. You know, you're told to not listen to history. History's not important. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so fucking funny, man. It's so funny, Dave. It's literally right there. We're living like 7 different historical storylines right now, all at one time. And like, you could just reference it at certain points in certain times in human history.
That's why I went back and started reading older texts, because honestly, human nature hasn't changed in thousands of years. It's the same. It's been updated. You know, technology changes the way that we, do certain things, but it's the same human nature underneath. It's the same base work. So going through reading the old texts, these people, every single one of these people up here would have seen this coming literally thousands of years away. They saw it coming. This is nothing new. So if you know your history, you know what's coming. We all knew while COVID was happening that this sort of thing was going on behind the scenes when everyone was saying, trust the science, trust the science, trust the science. This guy's the science. This is why we didn't trust the science. The only difference is we knew it while it was happening.
Now, David, and can spawn on this thought. If this is COVID, what do they do with climate change? What do they do with gun control? What do they do with abortion? What do they do with the debt? What do they do with foreign policy? What do they do with this? What do they do with immigrants? What do they do with the border policies? What do they do? Serious question.
Oh, surely, Ryan, this was a one-off for a deadly virus.
It's just Veep, David.
It's all
clearly.
Veep, Ryan.
Well, clearly, David
Where
and
I have,
Ryan
like, all
at
these talks
December
with people
1773 don't know what they're talking about.
People think, oh, I'm going to give you lots of information so you'll do the right thing. No, the reason I give you information is so that
You can shame me.
hard to be unvaccinated. And then I'm going to also give you a lot of information about getting vaccinated and why it's good. So that once you finally say, it, I'm just going to get vaccinated, you at least know that, at least they told me it's really safe. So do you understand the difference? They didn't get vaccinated because they heard it was safe. They gave
Dave, can you pause it, please?
It's not so much about finding them and arresting them. It's about making the default.
Oh, I'm so happy you guys came to Auschwitz for your stay. If you just take the towel here and go into the washroom in there and turn the knob, you're gonna smell a little gas, but it will just disappear. Trust me. Political Stockholm syndrome.
Default choice, the easy one. So you just have to do it that way.
I mean, are people even really smart enough to deal with this on their own?
No, that's why we were part of it. And that's why I told you about the education. It's like, I don't expect the education to change your behavior. I'm just going to make it really hard for you to do your job. And then I'll give you education so that when you finally give in, you'd be like, oh, well, I guess it was the right thing.
Yeah. All I can say to people is that this is not a conspiracy. This is like people working flat out, doing the best they possibly can.
I think the important thing here is just, again, be led by the facts and the data.
Oh, the COVID vaccine deniers?
Yeah.
Oh, they're not cases. I don't do it. Yeah, they're not cases. But the guys who are vaccinated are like right-wing nutcases.
Yeah, I mean, but okay, what do we do with those people?
That's why you have to have rules, because you can't convince them. You have to like just pass laws that say like you got to do this. So that's what we do in public health. There's nothing else we can do. So I can't always just do what the right thing to do is. I have to also make sure it's the right thing with the whole like world of everybody else.
Ah, yes, those nutcases for whom Varma made life exceedingly difficult. Interesting fact, one of those nutcases was NBA star Kyrie Irving.
The team just announced that superstar point guard Kyrie Irving won't play or practice with the team until he's eligible under the local COVID-19 vaccination mandate.
There's a basketball player named Kyrie Irving. You know, Kyrie Irving, he refused to get vaccinated. But because he played for the team in Brooklyn, because the vaccine mandate that I passed, he was not allowed to play. So it became this huge national issue about why Kyrie Irving wasn't allowed to play basketball because he was refusing to get vaccinated. Like, this is a fun part of my life. So I got to be on, so the Wall Street Journal wrote a whole story about me being the one that blocked Kyrie Irving from playing basketball.
I was not expecting, a mandate to be brought down in a way that it wasn't going to allow me to play at all.
I think he's passive on his ass because he's like trying to like I'm not in a position to tell him how to dribble better or how to shoot better. Like, I can be a fan and I can say, oh, I wish he did it, but I'm going to be like, I can't go coach him. Why is he turning around and saying that, like, I'm not going to tell him he doesn't know how to dribble and he knows how to do it. Like, don't tell me, like, how the science works.
There was no plan in place. There was no vision of like how it's going to work for our team. And I think that really impacted not just me, but a lot of people. So, just had to sit in that hot seat for a little bit and deal with it, man. Life of a martyr, bro.
If only Kyrie Irving was having underground sex parties as opposed to trying to make a living through his elected profession. But the same, by the way, can be said of trade workers, business owners, employees of New York, and, by the way, the country. Again, for you, the COVID policies were devastating.
The mayor admitting this morning the NYPD's social distancing enforcement efforts aren't working. A rough arrest of a young mother with her child in her hands.
Life-altering. But for people in charge, like Varma, it was actually pretty easy. Well, I'll let him explain it to you.
Oh, like, how did you not, like, go crazy during it? And I think the reason I didn't is because I felt like I had control. Yeah. It was getting done to you. Yeah. It was like, I was the one, like, making the decisions about what happened. So, like, I didn't feel like I was lost control. And I think that's what really ends up freaking any of us out. Like, when you know, when your life is, like, all uncertainty.
If you think that guy, David, just knows that by accident and didn't study psychology, I got a rocket ship outside. What he's describing is literally psychopathic and sociopathic behavior. The reason I didn't feel like it was such a big deal is because I had the control. That's a psychopath. Literally. And if this is just the czar, David, I can only imagine what type of psychopathic tendencies other elected officials have, David.
Well, this guy was he was a peon. This was a New York City.
Just a fringe group, clearly, David.
What happens when you get all the way up to Fauci or all the way up to the WHO, Ryan? The WHO and the CDC were dictating YouTube policy.
Dude, if this guy's fucking dudes' wives under M&T Bank, Fauci was definitely sucking off kids and draining their blood. Like, Diddy did it, dude. Like, these people need to be tried for treason and hung for treason in the state that they're living. This is illegal. You violated everybody's civil liberties, and it's come and arrest me. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not underselling this, David. They're admitting to you that they violated the Nuremberg Code, and they did it because, quote, they wanted control. I haven't heard them say shit about Nuremberg, mind you. The Nuremberg Code, David, that is supposed to prevent this shit from happening to us by government. Because remember, Dave, who really actually killed the Jews? Oh, it was the Nazis. Okay, well, what were the Nazis, David? They were the government in power of the country at the time. So it was actually the government that killed the Jews, David, not the Nazis. They were elected when they did it, Dave. The Nazis were elected in power when they killed the Jews, David.
Well, it sounds fine then, because wasn't it surely the will of the people, Ryan? Weren't they democratically elected?
It certainly was for a long time there, wasn't it, David? A lot of people turned a blind eye and just followed orders because my pension went up 3 times this past year. Imagine selling yourself out for $80,000 a year. You sold your whole country out for $70,000 pension a year. That won't even be there. Boeing lost all their pension. They will drain the fucking pension. At least it went up, though. You're making them more money to steal. Why do you think they're allowing it to go up? If you're not running a business, your retirement doesn't matter. It truly does not. Because if you cannot dictate the wage that you charge for your service, you're getting fucked. And that goes for me, too. Everybody, 99% of Americans are in that situation.
Right?
And there it is. Control. People like Varma weren't scared because they were in control. You were scared because you had no control.
I was only scared because people believe no liars for 4 years.
For you. And there implement. Before we get to that, did I mention in reviewing this footage, I couldn't help but feel compelled to meet Mr. Varma.
And that's really it. But there's another segment he does where he goes and meets the guy. But listen,
does he confront him?
Thing is just fucking very. He sure does, yeah.
And what's he say? The conspiracy.
I'll be honest. Well, listen. Yeah. Well, no. I'll be honest. He was very controlled. This is the kind of segment that you or I could not do because I would have just beat him on the street. Not that I'm calling for violence, YouTube.
Well, if it's a judge in Kentucky, David, you just walk in his chambers and kill him. Or have the rifle poke out. Oh, we've seen the scope on the law. We got Ben Shapiro giving Donald Trump advice on what to say after almost getting assassinated. Gotcha, Ben. I'm going to listen to guys that killed Jesus.
Real quick. This is... I really can't with these people. We're going to end the segment with this.
Yeah, I probably would
have. These people.
I would have punched that.
Ryan, why didn't facing a common enemy bring us together? And this is, as you can tell by the generated image that isn't a real image because they never are. That's about COVID. Why didn't
David,
a common enemy bring us together?
Real image. They can't show you the real image, David, because it's copywritten by a fucking corporation in a lab. It's their intellectual property.
Ryan,
Go ahead, somebody in the comments tell me I'm wrong there.
Because the common enemy
waiting.
didn't bring us together because the common enemy wasn't COVID.
It was
the common enemy was the government. They kept you away from your dying loved ones. They wouldn't let you go travel, do any of these things, go to sporting events, any of the normal things that you love. They wouldn't let your kids go to school. It has caused mental decline, mental capacity decline.
Reading,
of your children.
writing, arithmetic.
People have mental health issues that were caused by their policies, so you wouldn't get COVID, which ends up basically being a common cold when it's all said and done. And the worst part of it all, I could almost forgive it, Ryan. I could almost forgive it if they thought truly that they were doing the right thing and they were wrong. It's almost forgivable if they made a mistake. The reason this video matters so much is because you can get insight into the minds of these people. They knew what they were doing the whole time. They purposely put everybody through this. Everyone who couldn't see a dying loved one in a hospital, this guy was fucking other people's wives, and his wife was getting fucked by other men in the basement of a bank because of COVID. They made it really uncomfortable, didn't they, Ryan? Wasn't it really uncomfortable that you couldn't go hang out with your friends?
It's going to be uncomfortable when I stick my foot up that guy's ass.
You had to Zoom call everything. You couldn't go to work. Couldn't go to work. People lost their livelihoods. Landlords couldn't charge rent because renters didn't have money, but landlords still got stuck with the bill.
Hey, just get a babysitter for your kids, David. I can't have them over.
Your children's development was changed. They injected you with things that changed your DNA, and they did it on purpose, knowing that COVID wasn't a harm. It wasn't a danger, and they knew it wasn't a danger because look how they acted behind the scenes.
Dave, they made it in a fucking lab. They made the thing in the lab, and then political Stockholm syndrome you and leveraged every aspect of your life. And you think you're free. That's the Matrix. Go take another credit card and go get another car payment, though. Go put more money in that pension. You're going to need it when your dollar's devalued. Go on. Go right ahead. All the parts per million plastic. It's only parts per million. I sent Dave an article. Talked about how doctors accidentally created the peanut allergy.
Oops. Did they accidentally create ticks? Because I know Lyme's disease was created by the government too, for those who don't know. Accidentally, I'm sure.
Maybe it was Christopher Columbus when he gave the natives smallpox, David.
That's probably what it was. They did, yeah. Christopher Columbus gave natives smallpox on purpose way before anybody knew anything about communicating diseases. But they accidentally made COVID in the lab. They accidentally gave people peanut allergies. They accidentally created Lyme's disease.
They accidentally have the fattest American population ever. We eat the same foods, Dave. Oh, my kid can eat McDonald's because the same McDonald's I ate, but you look at the ingredients on it and it's not the same McDonald's. Do you know they changed red number 40 into a different chemical? They got FDA approval, David?
I think didn't we talk about that? No, we talked about something
so there's no
else
there's no red there's no red number 40. It's just Zaminafide, the fucking whatever. And then it's going to take how many conspiracy theorist videos on YouTube for that to come out before it's finally admitted that it's really just red number 40 repackaged and rebranded, and then we're going to go through the same thing. But by then, I'll be 60 and dying from red number 40 poisoning, and then my great-great-grandchildren will never know anything about it because any video will be scrubbed from the internet like a good 1984 little robot would do. But don't listen to George Orwell because he was a communist.
Who better to listen to about communism than a communist? Who else could explain the dangers better than him?
I got told that once. Orwell was a socialist. Don't use his name in vain. It's like, dude, the guy voted for the shit that is going to enslave humanity. And then they made a statue about him saying how he was the beacon of freedom at the BBC when they pushed him out of there.
I don't suspect he was a big fan of the BBC. You know,
I told you guys, Dave told you guys, Alex Jones told you guys, Patrick Bet David told you guys, Joe Rogan told you guys, Andrew Huberman. We all told you. We all told you. Still waiting for an I'm sorry. I'm still waiting for people to get their jobs back. I'm still waiting for back pay. I'm still waiting for the dollar to be devalued, David. I'm waiting for rent to go back down. I'm waiting for housing market to be corrected, David. It's weird that these things aren't correcting now that we know the truth. It's almost as if it was a plan to hyperinflate everything to force us to work, David. To suck the last bit of life out of the American system. Before we vote this year, and we never get to vote again, because Kamala Harris, I think Kamala Harris will win, and we'll never vote again. I believe that. They're talking like this. I don't know what else to think. I've seen a lot of conspiracy shit, David. I've never seen videos of czars of like this guy is not that important to have that ideology. You know what I mean? Like if a president was talking like this, if Trump was talking like this, it'd be everywhere, and we'd have a serious fucking problem, and we should all go down to Washington.
We'll just remember the outrage over the grab him by the pussy video.
Yeah.
The whole thing about that, for those who weren't listening to the actual words, was they let me do it, right? They let me grab him by the pussy. Nobody let this guy come in here and do this. I didn't accept this.
Well,
I didn't
David,
do it.
have...
You can make it as uncomfortable. I promise you, you can make it as uncomfortable as you possibly can. I will never do it.
Yeah, well, this guy violated Nuremberg, so he should be put to death, David. I'm not calling for violence. He's a fucking public health official. He knows the Nuremberg Code. He knows the fucking Hippocratic oath that thou shalt not do no harm, and they violated their oath. These are the trustworthy people, though, David, that I trust with my income.
They will not certify Trump if they don't kill him. Yeah, that's right,
dude. It doesn't. She's gonna win. Do we forget the fucking graph, the mathematical graph that overloads your fucking your conscious part of your brain? It's a fucking never, dude. In voting. Oh, like Saddam Hussein was running. Kim Jong-un was running in America. I didn't know that. That's crazy. That's the thing. Like, I don't need, when I see Dave, I know we know this, and it's just kind of like we're just fucking patting ourselves on the back, but it pisses me off. Like, I'm frustrated. I said today that the reason Trump lost locally is because I didn't campaign hard enough in 2020, David, like I did 16. Do you remember 2016? I put a lot of time talking to people. And I didn't do that in 2020. I thought it was hemmed up. Like, how can we give this up, dude? This is the best shit's been a while. I knew these guys were doing this, Dave. We knew these people were doing this. I'm not waiting anymore. These people they violated the Nuremberg Code. And when you violate the Nuremberg Code, it's death. There will be COVID trials. That's it. I'll be the judge. Put me in there. I'll be the strong man, David, that have to make the free will decision, the strong will decisions. These people don't get a second chance. They're not supposed to, and they're still out amongst us. I'm not saying we're going to go down there and tear it down, David. I don't know what to expect. But if I'm supposed to think that I'm just going to vote my way out of this, we're long mistaken. These people need to be put to the fire. They need to be held accountable. And we have to find the apparatus. We have to discuss it amongst ourselves on how we do that. I don't know what to do. But the thing that they did is the death penalty. That's the fact. That's not an opinion. They can come and arrest me and say I'm trying to stoke violence. No, that's literally the Nuremberg Code. It was agreed on by all the nations of the world after the atrocities that happened in the 20th centuries. And I got to watch our country. Dave, we're supposed to just sit here quietly and watch our countrymen walk right towards this, right? Clearly. I swore on the altar of God, tyranny against the minds of man. Thomas Jefferson. We're good, Dave.
Yeah, we're good. Are you going to create racism?
Oh no, I'm redefining racism.
Oh, redefining. Okay, so it exists, but you're
Mhm.
going to make it different.
Well, like, what's the big deal about racism?
What's the
It's
big
like
deal about it?
It's just all this locker room talk here. Okay, I'm just fucking spitballing. Okay, the big deal with racism is that it's defined as a federal word, right? Like a hate crime is derived from racism, right?
Sure.
So all of our government's just tied up in these terms. Like the only reason that you can get arrested for stuff is because the specific language of the law that translates to reality. So now this is going to be, I'll get hung on the altar of United Kingdom social media court, but I mean, it's dumb to say, and not that I agree with it, but you do have the right to be a racist. Like, not that I think it's right, but the idea that
say racist things, sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you can't because they're federal hate crime. So you go to jail if you say a hate crime, even though in the true essence of liberty, you should be able to be a racist as long as you're not harming anybody. I know we're in this whole thing of speech right now, that speech is the same thing as punching somebody. Sticks and stones may break my bones. But I guess when I'm not, this is not my sword to die on, but I kind of found a funny loophole that what if we just call it selectivism? I'm not racist. I'm just a selectivist. I just select to hang out with white people.
In that way, you're not discriminating because you're not being racist.
Yeah, well, if the hate crime is tied to me being racist, I'm not racist. I'm just selectivist. Because
Ryan,
I'm selectivist about it. Dave, I only drink Sam Adams. You can try to bring a different beer, but this is my selection, David.
So it's not that you specifically won't hang out with other people. It's that you just choose to hang out with certain people.
No, I'm selecting.
You're selecting. Yes.
I'm a
But you're not-
selectivist, David.
Yes, but you're not saying specifically that you wouldn't select somebody else. You just happen to select the people you select.
Yes, David. The idea of being a selectivist like myself is I can select as much or as little as I would like to select. But in selecting, I should not be shamed for the selection.
So what are the boundaries of this selection? Does this selection not only cross to your friendships, but your relationships?
It's everything. Why would it not be everything, David?
So you wouldn't
I'm-
select to be with a fat Chinese woman, for example.
Why would I, David? If I could select to be with a thin Chinese lady.
So you would select a thin Chinese lady. So it's not the Chinese that bothers you, it's the heft.
Well, if there was a thin white woman or a thin Chinese woman, I'd probably pick the thin white woman, David.
So in that particular case, then you're selecting not the race. I wouldn't say the race, because then you could indicate it's racism.
Well, I just select that skin color, David. Just like you pick your video game character, you select, right? You don't choose in a video game, you select. So I'm just selecting the skin shade that I like. You feel me?
Okay, so now I need to test what's more important to you. So would you select a fat white woman, or would you select a thin Chinese woman?
I would select nothing. If I didn't like the selection, I could always opt out, David.
That seems like a strong-willed decision.
A selective decision.
Selective will.
Selective will.
I don't know if this would.
See,
I don't know if this would work.
It's
but I
fucking
like this.
foolproof. It's foolproof.
I don't know about that.
Dude, come on. Because what we're really doing is just changing the word. And you can't tell me that
Well,
the
you can't
guy's
just change words, Ryan.
I can change my fucking dick position, though. That's fine. I can be
Well,
a woman and spike a volleyball and
Well,
paralyze somebody.
They don't
That's
change it.
fine.
They select to have vaginas.
See now there I can't say shit. You can't say you're a woman. Saying you're a woman is a problem, but if you select to be a woman, I can't say shit. You're a selectivist.
That's true. You just selected to be a woman.
You just selected to be a woman, David.
Racism is another
dead.
misdirection.
I killed racism, David. I finally did it.
They used to call the draft selective service. That's true.
Hey,
it was kind of unselective. You kind of had to do it, but
No, Dave. No, Dave. We're not forcing you. We're just selecting you. See if they can use it, I can use it. This is even better than I thought.
There's
I've
technically
killed
no
racism.
racism because there's only one race genetically.
Yeah, human race. I agree.
Racism Skittles.
Ethnicity.
Racism Skittles with many flavors for irony.
Come on, Dave.
Interesting.
Selectivist.
Interesting.
Selectivist.
I don't know if the selectivist thing will work, but I'll give it a shot. I'll see what I can do.
You'll go out. You'll be a good selectivist.
We all kind of learn how to select when we're in school, right? If you're choosing your teams or whatever during gym.
Yeah, I'm not talking to black guys today.
Like
What are you, racist? No, I'm just selecting.
It definitely depends what sport. If I'm playing baseball, I'm selecting Latinos for sure. But I don't know if I'm doing basketball. I'm probably selecting blacks.
Yeah, profiling no longer.
And if I need
exists,
someone to
David,
manage the
'cause-
team, I'm probably selecting a Jew.
Probably. Well,
Uh,
yes. Yeah, see, Dave, you got it. You got the welcome to the new movement in America.
Selectivism.
Selectivism. You can't be shamed. You can't be shamed. It's not illegal. It's not illegal to be a selectivist.
Well, we'll give it a shot. We'll see how YouTube feels about this.
Well, I mean, maybe they're selectivists.
Well, they do select to not have our content most of the time.
You see, I can't even be mad at them then, David. Now can I?
Pick the Jew if there is a salary cap. Yeah, you definitely need somebody to. You definitely need somebody to be a little cautious.
Who is this guy?
You definitely got to be a little cautious for sure.
Dude. Who is this guy?
If you can find the
This has
Jew, he
made
might
my
be in
whole-
he might be in one of the basement tunnels. So you got
This
to be
made
careful.
my whole day with that. If there's a salary, definitely take the Jew, dude. Holy shit, dude. I'm gonna shoot my cat with a squirt gun. Hold on. Oh fuck, dude. Yeah, the Boeing pensions, David. I wonder why Boeing lost all their money. Maybe it was that subpar Chinese steel they sent up into orbit that got 2 astronauts stuck there.
Is there even a way to know? Oh, by the way, I mean,
Maybe if they had some guys that were quality control.
I haven't been.
They had 2 guys fucking kill themselves. And now the pension's gone for the whole company. After I just watched the video of the czar of the COVID thing, I would love Crowder, send a moderate 6.7 down to the Boeing fucking cafe.
Oh, speaking of 6.7, let's talk about this. Does everyone aware of what's her name? Is it Angela Reese, the WNBA player that was just drafted last year? Did you see her demands?
What, her selection, David?
Her selection. She demands to select an NBA player who is at least 6'7".
For dating?
Yeah, that's her selection. You said 6.7. I thought Angela Reese.
So her starting position.
Minimum selection.
Minimum for a man is 6'7".
6'7". So unfortunately, Ryan, we've been deselected.
Is she hot? Is she hot?
Yeah, well, I got to tell you, you said 6.7, and this is what sparred it. So not particularly. She's not atrocious.
She's hot for a female basketball player. All right.
No, you haven't seen her. Do I have to bring her up?
Yeah, I mean, do that, and then also Google how many men in America are 6'7" or taller.
Well, and in the NBA, because it was an and too. 6'7" and in the NBA.
So we're shooting in like the. I mean,
right, this is. I gotta tell you, if I'm being honest, it's a mixed bag. So I'll bring it up, but we'll see. Let's bring this up. It's Angela, I guess.
Oh, I know. Who you're
Kinda,
talking about.
yeah, it kind of like it depends, you know.
She's the type of woman that looks like she'd smoke crack in Russia and then tell me that my country's a piece of shit and ask for me.
No,
to
that's
come
Brittany
bail her out.
Griner. She's very Brittany Griner is much butchier.
Yeah, I guess she's pretty, eh?
Well, it's really hit
Scroll
and miss,
down.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, dress ain't bad.
Yeah, right. She can clean up.
Yeah, dude, I ain't mad at it.
6'7" NBA player. That's what she's looking for.
I hope
Now,
you
the
like
problem
washing
is-
dishes.
Well, here's the thing. I think here's where my problem lies in this. I think she thinks Shaq's not single. He's dating like a 4 foot tall fucking dime. I think she thinks because she's an accomplished basketball player that an NBA player is going to give a shit, and I don't think they're going to care. Let me break this down.
Well, dude, how superficial is it that you pick a guy based on his height?
If you're a 6'7" NBA player, okay, and you have pretty much the pick of what you're looking for, you're picking from the top 1% of women for sure,
And that's what you're gonna pick.
You're not picking attributes like, is she a successful WNBA player? I promise you that doesn't come up in conversation. You need a ladder to find out. You said if you wear those things the drywall guys wear under your pants, you probably have a chance. I don't know. I don't know if they're that. Are they tall enough?
What if my dick is 6'7"? You're looking at the wrong height, okay?
Yeah, I'm 6'7" when I lay down.
Fucking monster cock here. Fucking. Dave, I seen an article that compared how wealthy Donald Trump and Kamala Harris was to the average American.
Oh wait, hold on. You wanted me to look up how many people are 6'7" real quick?
Oh yeah. Percentage of men 6'7" or taller.
Let's get some AI involved. According to the available data, only about 1% of men are 6'7" or taller. That means being 6'7" is considered very tall. Thanks, AI. Average male height is 5'9" to 5'10". Percentage of men over 6 feet around 14.5%. And then over 6'7" is 1%. And then to also be in the NBA, not all 6'7" men are in the NBA. So what do you narrow?
And
it down
also
to a half percent?
Yeah, not married.
Chat GPT is a serial liar. I can ask Grok. I don't know if Grok will know. You want me to ask Grok?
Hey, Chat GPT is not a liar. They're just between Donald Trump and Stephen Hawking. Where do you fall on the scale?
Hold on, let's ask. We'll ask Grok. You ready? Percentage of men 6'7", 7 inches or tall. Whoa. I'm typing on the wrong thing here. Where the fuck my screen go? Okay. Percentage of men 6'7" or taller is quite small. Here's a rough estimate based on population. It's not. If we assume, holy fuck. Therefore, roughly 0.38% of men are 6'7" or taller. So Grok is saying 0.38. Very rough estimate.
Ask Grok if humans and dinosaurs live together. $37 players.
Oh wow, it's really thinking about it. It has no idea how to figure this out. Okay, you want me to ask if humans and dinosaurs live together?
59 players in the NBA are listed at 6'7", considering the total roster sizing. So this girl has 59 men to choose from. I guess that's actually really good to know. Like she can actually just chip away.
Yeah, she literally knows. She knows there's 59 people I can
That's
pick
it.
from. And the audacity that she thinks she has free reign over 59 of those people. She's not that, let's be clear. She's not a 10.
She probably can't cook.
No, humans and dinosaurs did not live together. Here's a brief explanation, Ryan. There was a gap in time, of course.
David,
a
tell me how
vast
there's
gap
a-
of about 65 million years.
Well, it's only parts per million, David, so it's really not that
Hold on.
far.
It does specify between the extinction of non-avian dinosaurs. Why would it make that specification, Ryan?
The fuck's non-avian mean? Flying?
Not flying. That means flying dinosaurs exist. Do you know the closest relative to the T-Rex, Ryan?
What?
The
Human
chicken.
beings?
It's a chicken. I have 4 of them. I have 4 T-Rexes at my house. And birds are close too.
David,
Like the
ask Gronk
parrots
if
are
the
very
if a saber-toothed tiger's tooth is evolved to kill humans.
That's an interesting question. Did a saber-toothed tiger's evolve to kill humans?
Tooth evolved to kill humans.
The evolution of the saber-toothed tiger's Smilodon large canine teeth was not specifically directed towards killing humans. They lived 2.5 million years ago until around 10,000 years ago. For most of their existence, they coexisted with various other large mammals, not humans. Homo sapiens only appeared around 300,000 years ago. Wait, hold on. So if saber-toothed tigers lived until 10,000 years ago, and it's saying Homo sapiens appeared 300,000 years ago. That sounds like, to me, if I'm doing the math correctly, saber-toothed tigers and humans lived at the same time.
Well, luckily for us, they're not dinosaurs, David. They're just
They had
cats.
significant interaction with saber-toothed tigers. It would have been minimal at the time humans spread across their habitats.
I literally remember growing up to pictures of saber-toothed tigers and humans, they showed illustrations of it.
Their teeth evolved for hunting the large, often thick-skinned megafauna.
There's a fucking ancestor of one of these animals that has a tooth that fits right in the back of our skull, and it's a one bite kill. Whatever. I'm on a fucking tangent. I wrote down the that article you sent me about how dinosaurs and humans live together. So I just thought it'd be funny. Janet Jackson says Kamala Harris is not black. I thought that was funny. And
there isn't well-documented ancient animal known for having a tooth that specifically fits in a human skull or biological or evolutionary context. However, if we're exploring the idea from more speculative or anecdotal standpoint, here's what might be inferred. Interesting.
2,000 years ago, elongated skull bears evidence of successful surgery. Metal was surgically implanted in the skull after the individual returned from battle. That's fucking gnarly. Yeah, you imagine like 2,000 years ago, you go to the dude at your fucking tribe, he gives you mushrooms and just hammers metal into your fucking head. God, humans are gnarly. All right. Dave,
sorry, I'm just catching up on chat real quick. Do you think she would like shorter men because some sexual activities where shorter is better? They think dinosaurs come from birds.
Birds are older than
Ask
birds
it to name
after
the seven
dinosaurs.
dwarfs. You want me to ask Grok to? I feel like Grok can handle that. I like cis sapiens. That was the original sapien.
Adam and Eve.
It was Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, Ryan.
Well, humans reproduce asexually. All right, David, 23andMe. I sent you this. The members of 23andMe board have stepped down, David.
Hold on. I take offense to what you just said. Ryan, you said that you sent me this. You have it backwards, my friend. That's misinformation, and now you're going to prison for life.
I'm pretty sure I sent you the article.
I'm pretty sure I sent it to you. We can check the records, Ryan. I know I sent it to you.
No, David, clearly, you're mistaken.
I believe you were
I actually think I
giving
sent you an
mail
article.
information.
I sent an article after that confirmed, and it broke down a different angle. So 23andMe, David.
Sounds
that
like
genetic-
you're backtracking.
That little genetic test kit that you spit and swab, and they tell you your ancestry and all of that stuff. The whole board stepped down.
I heard Kamala Harris used to spit and swab.
Montel did it, you know.
So the
I
board.
punched in. Yeah, I punched in why they were stepping down, David. Do you know why?
Yes, I do know because you did send me why. Even though I sent you the original headline, you had sent me the why.
Yeah, David. And the why is they're taking the company private. So let me get this straight. Come up with this cool idea to get all of our, to help us figure out our ancestry. And then you can click on our little arrow and we'll link it with ancestry.com, David, so you can find where your ancestors came from based on your DNA. How nice of them. Make this cool thing. Everybody does it. They get billions of samples, David. Privatizing now. I always said the one reason I would never do those things, David, is because who's to say what they do with your DNA? Because it's your data, right? And your data don't matter. And now it's in a company's hands, in a private database. They're going to sell this data to whatever they can. Law enforcement for cold cases, AI, fucking Terminator robots, big pharma for more drugs, the military. That company got all of our genetic info and then bounced, and now they're about to be trillionaires. They're going to be able to replace you based on genetic sequences. And now that they're a private company, we don't even got to know what they're up to. And they still got all your data. I'm sure they didn't give back your DNA data when they sold off all that stuff, David. I'm sure that data is kept very nice and high. I'm sure they're going to go to the government in the future and be like, oh, we could predict how future outbreaks of certain diseases will be based on the genetic makeup of the DNA population.
You know, Ryan, I seem to remember forever ago, was it China? Were they creating super soldiers?
Yeah, that's right. They've been making chimeras for years, David.
That's a conspiracy, right?
They have glow-in-the-dark monkeys. You can buy them online. They take
Real
the
monkeys?
jellyfish.
Real
yeah,
monkeys?
type in glow-in-the-dark monkeys for sale.
Human chimeras. Hold on. I just had AI human chimeras because we all know it's conspiracy, of course. Refer to individuals who have 2 or more genetically distinct cell lines with their bodies. Here's a comprehensive overview. Distinct genotype that can occur naturally or be induced medically. That sounds like a conspiracy, Grok. You want me to look up glow-in-the-dark monkeys?
Mm-hmm.
I will say this will be a thing I've not seen yet.
Yeah, I
Will
heard
they
about
be
this years ago. They take this is like
Whoa!
early, yeah. This is early.
Hold on.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this? Is this going to be at the monkey farm? 30,000 glowing monkeys.
Yo, glow-in-the-dark radioactive. There they are, dude. Look at them. Yeah,
What
look at them
the
fucking things.
fuck? Dude, it looks like fucking Avatar. What is this?
Yeah.
Are you fucking serious? Tell me this doesn't look like Avatar.
Yeah, that might be AI generated. Some of these might be a little fluffed up, but
dude, what in the fucking hell?
yeah. So what I always heard, at least years ago, was that they take with like early CRISPR type technology, David, is that they take the genes out of jellyfish that allow them to glow in the dark, and then they inject them. There it is, inherent jelly. Yeah, I was right. When's this from? Yeah, look at that, using CRISPR.
Let me see. Let me just reject all my offers real quick. CRISPR, that sounds like conspiracy. May 27th, 2009.
Oh, look at that, Dave. Fucking 10 years old almost. Yeah. Wonder what they're going to do with that 23andMe data, David.
Dude, that is
15-year-old.
Fucking wow. This is 15 years old. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, there's a chicken. That is fucking incredible. Holy shit.
Yeah, so they take the genes out of the jellyfish that make it glow in the dark and be bioluminescence and inject it in the monkey, and that's what you kind of get. And they sell these in the black market all over the place.
So I can buy a glow in the dark monkey.
And
I might consider a glow in the dark monkey. That's pretty fucking awesome. That fucking blows my mind. I don't know how I missed that 15 years ago.
Well, we didn't do this program.
Ryan,
Dave.
what if we made ourselves glow in the dark? We could sell ourselves online.
Well, Dave, I'm sure we could drink something make you glow in the dark. What's the thing they make you drink before you go for MRIs?
We need a new revenue stream, Ryan, quite frankly, because the Russian thing fell through. Wow, that's crazy. Still never received any of that Russian money, you know? That really blows my mind. That's wild.
Yeah, so, look, I only referenced the dumb monkey story. If you think that they're just going to we're a private company, you're an idiot. They can do anything now. They have all of our genomes. They're going to make humans. They're going to splice. They can do whatever they want. They can make the target vaccines for anybody they want. And they're going to sell it to you that, this is for new medicines and no more cancer because we have our genome mapped. Meanwhile, they give you cancer.
Well, you want people to feel safe, Ryan, remember?
Dave, they'll be able to give you time-delayed cancer, that they'll be able to make your genes die at a certain day. We're in a science fiction book. And luckily for you, you got Dave and Ryan, December 17th, 73. Catch us on Rumble for the weekly show. As always, I appreciate you most for your time, David, and everybody else that tuned in. I'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, everyone. No, we did not get any of the Tim Pool money. It's a shame.
Tim Pool also said, real quick thing, I'm so tired of this guy. I respect him and everything he does. But I told you guys over a year ago that World War III would be a civil war, and he's reporting on it now like he didn't get the fucking memo from me. I'll catch you guys later.
He paid us fair and square. Thanks, everyone. I'll see if I can end the stream or if I'm going to get stuck in an endless loop if I can't end the stream. Rumble Studio. I fucking love Rumble Studio. I do really love Rumble Studio, but I truly